What's happening, everybody? Rhino, nice to see you. Miranda's
What's
already in
up?
here. She beat
I
half the
am.
guys in here.
Sorry about not answering sooner today. Like I said, I just don't check my messages that much on Twitter. But yes, I am here.
I weirdly had good faith that you would be here regardless.
I do write down my schedule like 30 minutes a day. I had you covered.
Yeah, you strike me as the type of person who sets an appointment, gets there, and, even if you're there on time, you made it there. I don't know. I had no doubt. Honest to God, I had no doubt.
Good deal.
Um, all right, so
Well, it
we're
seems like
gonna.
women don't ever forget anything, Miranda. So we knew you were good.
Good deal.
Okay, so I got my co-host Andrew here for the night, and we're gonna hop right into it. Some people will join, but this will get replayed and go on our YouTube. And we cut a deal for 25 minutes, so it's important to me. I try to stick to that. For everybody
Real
that's
quick, just wanted to say what's up. Good evening to everyone. Miranda, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for showing up again. It's great to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate the generosity of your guys' podcast too.
we love having you. So all right. So before we jump into talking about the fight, because I really, really want to talk about the fight, I want to first say, for everybody that's listening, tuning in, and replaying, we're starting. I've been trying to start this new segment, 25 for 25. I'm not a rich guy, father of five, but $25 to charity for 25-minute interviews with MMA fighters. Miranda is a returning guest, but our first 25 for 25. Her charity was Tap Cancer Out. It's a pretty awesome charity. I have some links to it on some posts on our page that are pretty easily found. It might not sound like much, but if I could hit 40 of them in a year, that's $1,000 to charity, not to the sports books or to whatever else I would waste it on. So with all that said, welcome back, Miranda. I'm glad to have you. Before we jump into the fight, two things I got to hit you on. So last time you were in the space, we talked about Macy the Bandit Barber getting a robbery from you. And I don't know if you've seen her last fight or not. And I don't know if you have any feelings about that, but this woman is like the Jesse James of decisions. I don't know what else to say.
Joe, you didn't see her comment, bro?
Yeah, I posted all over. It kind of went viral.
No,
It was funny.
I did, and I may have and forgot, but like it's ridiculous. I thought of you
Yes, so
instantaneous, Miranda. I was like, oh, again.
yep. So I watched it. I posted basically something that called out Andrea Lee, and I was like, "Hey, girl, sorry this happened to you too. I thought you won. Great to see another one go to Macy the Robber Barber," and literally put that on my feed. You know, I got a lot of shit for blaming it on the fighter and not the judges, but I do blame it on the judges. But Macy doesn't handle herself with class. She doesn't take ownership in the slightest for any of these things, and she's not accepted a rematch with me in the past, and I doubt she's going to willingly do so in the future. But I plan on calling her out right after my next fight. Not overlooking my next one, but I am very confident that I'll win, get done with that, and I'll be calling her out on the mic after my fight.
Oh, I love to hear that. I love to hear it. She's not taking it though. I want to be clear. She's not taking it.
Oh, probably not. She's had a chance to in the past, and she already refuted it.
So the other thing that you predicted is that for no evident reason you would drop back out of the top 15, and of course, for no evident reason you were in the top 15, and now you're not. So you seem to be pretty savvy about what's going on over there in the UFC.
It's all politics. It's all politics. And there's some reasons that some girls are in the top 15 and not others. Of course, there's some credibility to the rankings, but I definitely don't hold much water with it.
Yeah, I don't either. It's a close gauge, is what I try to make a policy of thinking. I did see. I'm gonna jump into questions about your fight, but I did see that your sister went the distance with the champ over at Peak Fighting. Losses happen, still
Yeah,
bounce back.
Yeah, I felt a little rough for her. She lost a decision. I think it was a fairly close decision. One, she was in Texas with the hometown girl, but two, she just was kind of deer in headlights during that fight. She's young, she's got a lot to learn, and honestly, that was probably the best learning experience for her. It was the first fight she's been in, and when I say that, that was her fourth fight. However, that was the first fight she didn't go in there and just demolish the girl in like the first round, or she had one round or one fight that went the distance previously, but she dominated every single round. So good experience for her, and what will determine how good she will be is how she comes back from this.
I agree, and yeah, at some point you got to bite down on your mouthpiece. So, you know,
Yep.
if that time came, that's a good thing for her. So okay, into the fight stuff. Last time we spoke, you didn't have a fight. It was pretty evident you weren't gonna get a top 15 fight. We had talked about everybody being booked up or having already avoided you. Um, so on June 10th, UFC 289, almost UFC 290 that I'll be at, but that's okay. UFC 289 UFC's going back to Canada, which is your second time out of the US, right?
That's correct. My first one was my debut in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I remembered you telling us that last time. So just how'd the fight come up? How did it happen? Did you get a call? Did you make a call? Did it go easy? How did it go? How did it happen?
Yeah, so I actually called out Jasmine on Twitter of all places right after she fought Gabrielle or Gabriella, however it is. Saw that she had performed very well, and I basically said, "Hey, you did great tonight. You look good. If you're willing to, when do you want to dance?" And I told her to call Mick, call her manager, get it done because she responded, "I'd love to follow my lead, with the dance." So we had a little banter going back and forth on Twitter. We messaged behind the scenes to kind of get it set up. She was really pushing for the Canada fight. The only reason I don't like it is because of the outrageous taxes that they take from you up there. But other than that, ready to go, ready to have another fight. It's not in the top 15, but I don't get paid different either way. And that's something that I don't know if people know that or they just don't care and want to only look at rankings, but I'm in this for money. At the end of the day, I'm in this to make it my career and my livelihood, not just to go in there and have fun. If I was doing something to just have fun, I would do jujitsu and not get punched in the face for a living.
I honestly love to hear you say that. I try to remind people all the time that it's prize fighting. Sometimes people get on me for comments I make about when fighters get a little on in their career, they should chase money fights like that. Like your time is limited. Like if you build a name value and later on you can chase money fights, like chase money fights. Like I don't know. So I'm glad to hear you say
Yeah,
that it's
I mean,
about
it's an
it's about
entertainment
making a living.
industry. Yeah, it's an entertainment industry. It's nothing else. Like people want to be entertained. We want to get paid to entertain the people. So that's really all that matters at the end of the day.
Hey, in all reality, in all the sports, we don't always just talk about the stats. We talk about the dough.
That's right.
So did the UFC just jump right on board? I mean, I did actually see the tweet where you called her out. I did see that one. If you go back, I'm sure I liked it somewhere.
Yeah.
But
So
was it just a quick call or a quick text and they were like, hell yeah, let's do it?
no, it was like a week and a half buildup. Her and I both shared graphics. We both posted about it. Now, I did the same thing with the Molly fight, and that never came to anything. But with Jasmine, it seemed like it was going to make sense. They had a lot of steamrolling behind her. She has a lot of nationalists behind her of the Canadians, and they wanted a Canadian card. So I knew that she wanted to come back soon since they were talking about an early summer fight up in Canada already, throwing that around. And I was like, hey, let's get it done. And she agreed. And we kept posting and kept posting. I contacted my management, told them to bug the matchmakers at the UFC. And eventually I got a call that said, hey, take it or don't. And I said, done, take it. Didn't even talk to my coaches first. We already knew if it was going to happen, it was going to happen.
Very nice that you just took it. So, oh, Andrew, go ahead. Go ahead because I've been dominating. Go ahead, bud.
No, you're good. I was just going to ask Miranda. So I've realized that almost all fighters are confident going into a fight. but there's different levels of confidence. Sometimes you're going to get fights and you might be salivating because you're like, oh yeah, as long as I don't do anything dumb, this is going to be easy work tonight. And then you have other fights that are like, okay, this is going to be a challenge. I'm excited for this challenge because it's going to be a tougher matchup. How do you feel about this fight in those terms coming up?
I feel very high on the scale of confidence. I don't want to go all the way to cocky because I don't consider myself that way, but I do feel like I'm better in every area compared to Jasmine. She has the wall wrestling and wrestling background, but it's really not much of a pedigree. She's just been going against girls that don't have that much of a wrestling or grappling pedigree. So I think she has a lot of hype behind her, and it's not really going to add up to much in her fight against me, but it's a big opportunity for her. For me, I just see it as long as I don't get held against the cage, which I think is nearly impossible at this point with the way I've been training, I'm going to win this fight in any area. My striking, I 100% know, is better, faster, and way more powerful than hers. We saw that, the Gabriella fight pretty much opened up that gap, and the one versus, I think it was Natalia. I think that's her name, or something Silva, I think, that fought her a couple fights ago, showed some holes as well, just getting out volumed, out speed. And as far as the grappling, I think I'm much better on the ground than her too. We haven't really seen her in any bad positions, and that's usually when people kind of break, and I want to be able to break her. I'm usually the bully in a fight. I bullied Macy when she was used to being the bully, and Jasmine's the same. She's used to coming forward, pressuring her opponents, and I'm ready to bully her, push her to the cage, put her on the ground, and beat her up.
I was watching that Natalia Silva fight last night, and she's not very strong, but she kind of manhandled her pretty easy in the grappling thing. And that was the first thing to my mind. I was like, there's no way she's got enough power to take on Maverick in the same way. So I think that is going to be a big help for you because she's not that strong. Because that Silva chick's smaller than you or not much bigger. They're about the same size, but you're a lot stronger than she is. And she kind of made it look easy in the grappling exchanges.
Yeah, I agree. I actually think she's significantly smaller than me. I think she could be a fighter at 115 if she wanted to. But
Yeah,
yeah, I anticipate being the much stronger opponent as per usual.
without a doubt. I mean, that's definitely what you're known for and what
Yeah, so
anybody would analyze. Go ahead, Joe. My
I
bad.
think Rhino cut out. No, I didn't mean to cut you off. You could have went ahead, bud. I was just gonna. So I know Miranda doesn't. Yeah, listen. Fighters listen to other fighters' interviews. We may be lucky enough that Jasmine seeks out enough that she finds this interview. So I wouldn't ask too much. But what was camp wise like? You said you accept instantaneous. The next thought must have been what the camp would consist of. Like, what was just the first thought? Like, okay, I'm gonna do this camp for sure, or this is gonna be this type of camp. Like, when you were taking that in, what was the first thing you thought about camp when you thought about this fight?
So amusingly, the day I took the fight, I was like, finally, I can have a break. And by that, I mean, I had been working hard, waiting for a short notice fight for weeks on end, like probably 12 weeks, preparing for a fight that might come my way any day. And when I got the call and told it was June 10th, I was like, thank goodness. I'm taking a week. I'm taking 2 weeks just to lighten up training. I didn't spar for 2 weeks. Let myself basically recover, let myself get a little bit more weight on than I usually would. That way I can have a peak time in this camp, start off a little lower intensity, peak around week 4, week 3, and then the last 2 weeks just focus on my weight cut and the last final touches cardio wise going into this fight. But yeah, sat down with my coaches. We watched the fights. I've watched her interviews. They don't really do that so much, just her fights and her techniques. And put together my fight camp, got my schedule together. My private lessons are usually the only things that really change as far as the material I'm learning. And it'll just be people more her size. I oftentimes fight girls a little bit taller than me, and she's no different. So we have a little bit leaner, taller girls. I've been going with a couple guys that have heavy grappling. I actually went with Tatsuro. He's a flyweight in the UFC today for the first time sparring. and he just beat me up in the grappling, and I plan on continuing to train with him and get my butt beat throughout this camp so that I can be prepared for worst case scenarios. She will not be able to throw me around like those guys can.
So given
Wow,
that
that's
you're
Go ahead, Andrew. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so given that you're confident, striking with her, grappling with her, do you have a preference on where this fight goes? And by doing that, is there like a certain message you're trying to send to people?
Yeah, I've been trying to become a full martial artist since I got in the UFC to show everyone, initially it was, oh, she's only a striker, which was amusing because I came from Invicta only being called a grappler. But then I got out grappled by Aaron. Everybody was like, oh, she only has striking. Then I came back and showed that I was fairly well rounded against Sabina. And then Shanna, I showed the wrestling background. This time I want to just put it all together. But if I could get a finish on the feet, I would be excited. I just don't have many of those, mainly because I kind of default back to my grappling base. And I think I could just overwhelm her on the feet if I try to. But my guess is it's going to be a TKO if I get what I want.
That's exciting. I would love to see the TKO come for you. Yeah, hey, I would love it. I'm with Rhino. I think for me, it's going to be a strength thing. Like, she can shoot takedowns in a fight if she wants. I know she's never shot 16. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but if you're not strong enough to do it, you'll just tire yourself out trying and trying and trying. And I could see in later round 2 or round 3 where if you're still fresh, that's going to be a big problem for her. So I
Well,
really
even
hope it
that,
goes that way for you.
even if you add the
With
home field
that said,
advantage stuff, even if you add that home field advantage that she's trying to help herself with, you've been in the UFC too long to that really affect you. So that really, I think you're on a good pick of a fight just to get more views and try to get back into that, maybe getting a top 10 opponent after this. So calling out Barber, but she ain't going to take you. She'd have too much risk into doing that because if she took you, loses, now she's completely now looked upon as somebody who just got lucky on some scorecards, and now she's not going to get like a solid fight right now after that horrible win she didn't deserve. Why would she take a chance?
Right. No,
Sadly.
I don't disagree, but I'm going to try it anyway. It'll get
Oh,
media
heck yeah.
hyped up
Do
at
it. Do it.
least. And, yeah, as far as being in her hometown, home Canada, up there fighting, I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to be the quote unquote underdog as far as the crowd and everything. And, regardless, I'm going to get to fight in front of fans, a non-COVID crowd for the first time ever. And I'm very excited about that.
And you'll probably get to meet
so
GSP, so that's pretty cool.
I hope so.
so I was gonna ask about that. So do you anticipate being booed?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't see it possibly going any other way.
Okay, so in front of the live crowd, but like you're ready to embrace it. Like
Oh, yeah,
I
I
hope you
love it.
take the booze all the way to the locker room because they're pissed.
I love it.
Have you
Listen,
ever
I've
been
been an
booed before?
underdog. Oh yeah, many times. In Invicta, when I started, I was booed. But the most boos I've ever heard, the most disrespectful I've ever had a crowd, I had things thrown at me and stuff, was when I fought in Washington, D.C. for the only fight that I didn't fight for Invicta throughout my pro career before UFC. And it was for Shogun Fights. The other girl was from D.C. She was talking a bunch of shit online and everything. And then I just beat her in the first round with actually my only knockdown ever with a punch at that point, and then choked her from there. But beat her in the first round, got a bunch of things thrown at me in the crowd, booed even after I won. But I did get a lot of money from a bunch of betting drunks in the crowd that I had to walk through, so that was fun.
Oh, that's absolutely awesome. Okay, so we're in our last 5 minutes with Miranda here, and we're going to hold true to our 25 for 25. If anybody had anything they wanted to ask her, you'd love to let all you guys get up here. Just throw your hand up or request a mic, and we'll try to get you on in these last couple minutes. Miranda, did you want to plug any of your stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a bunch of new gear, guys, all the way from like new gloves, boxing gloves, to sweaters, to crop top hoodies and leggings for the men, for the women, all kinds of things. Check out fearthemaverick.net. You can also message me. I promise it's not a scam if I message you back and say you can just do Venmo or Cash App so you can avoid taxes.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that was awesome. She said, I promise it's not a scam if you message me back.
A
With
lot
that
of
said,
people
I don't
think it. A
really
lot of
feel the
people think
need
it.
to have to
Hey,
think. She
Miranda,
said
real
a lot of
quick,
people think it.
who you
Go.
got this weekend?
I think Pereira's going to win, and I think Burns is going to win.
Okay. How do they get it done?
I think Burns is going to out wrestle Masvidal. It might be long and boring, but I think that he could out wrestle him and then ground and pound. And then I think that Pereira, I think it's going to go the distance.
Oh, you think it goes the full 25 this time, huh?
Maybe. They both got a lot on the line, and I think it's going to be a more cautious fight.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. They're both so intense, too. I don't know.
Yo, Miranda.
Do you go ahead?
Real quick, just
Go
wanted
ahead.
to say, Miranda won that Macy Barber fight 30-27. I just had to say that real quick.
Thank you.
That's pretty much why I came in here. Also, are you still selling gloves? And do you have 10-ounce gloves?
I sure do. If you want to message me right after this on Twitter, feel free, and I'll show you what I got left.
Okay, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Well, look at that. Hopefully that turns into a sale right there, and this was worth more than the 25 minutes. I want
There we
to
go.
ask real quick, and then we'll scram you out of here. I don't know if you have any. I don't mean relation, but I just mean like training relation to Loopy or Cynthia this weekend.
Nope,
But
not really.
you looking at
I
that fight?
know I'm rooting for Loopy just because I've liked her social media. I like kind of what she represents, everything I know about her at least. So I'm hoping that she gets it done.
Yeah, I didn't plan to try to keep you all night. We got a
You're
couple
good.
minutes early, which actually makes me feel good because we drag everything on around here. Miranda, thank you very, very much for your time tonight. After you win, I'll probably be trying to message you right before fight week to get you in the space. Are you doing fight week? Are you doing UFCX this year?
Not that I know of. They have not messaged me. I haven't gotten my hype up enough for that. I guess I need to start talking shit more or something.
Wait until a night in Canada when you
What
tell
in the
everybody I should give
bullshit?
you some real respect back.
Right? That or show my butt all over Instagram seems to be the two ways to get yourself on their week of UFC
I've been
stuff.
trying, but it's not really helping me. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Oh, jeez. But yeah, if you guys want to message me, if
Oh,
you
it's
fans or
horrible
anything
that it's
have
that.
questions, it is. But if you guys have any questions, even after the interview, feel free to message me. I'm usually pretty good about getting back to people, or go check me out on Patreon. Might have OnlyFans coming out soon, not to show what I was just talking about, but for training videos and stuff like that at least. But we're still working through details for that.
If
Miranda,
you
thank you
do
so
and we
much for
see the
coming
tweet,
by. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you
we'll
very
make sure
much.
to
Have a good night.
retweet anything we see.
Thank you.
You
Thank
too,
you.
Hey, good
Miranda.
night.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Joe,
boys.
I feel like we're off sync.
We are. We have to be. I can tell it in the timing. Someone. I think I'm off with everybody else.
Huh.
It
I
it
saved you
feels
a
like
couple
I'm waiting
times.
for responses, even when Miranda was talking, like say something, and then I'm like, oh no, is her mic dead? So I don't know. Twitter Spaces sometimes can be funny. My Wi-Fi up. I I don't know. I go out of my way to make sure there's a good internet connection for these spaces. So I don't know. She was at
I started just using my
I think
phone
she may have been
because
at
I
the
couldn't use my computer
I think
anymore.
she may have been at the gym or driving, and I know that when you connect to other speakers, sometimes they can lag up the whole space. Not that I'm blaming her, but maybe she was driving or something and we were
All
having a
right,
hard
good.
time holding her, but it felt weird.
I heard
I don't know.
real good.
It felt off.
Yeah, one of you guys was like, I think it might be you, Joe. What do you call it? Because I noticed when some of the guys were talking, you would come in, or I'm not sure what do you call it. I mean, but for the most part, I mean, the space it sounds fine. Everything does sound coherent. So I mean, as long as no one
Dad, I
like,
feel the same way because I'm like, Joe never just cuts people off. This is odd. I was like, I think we're off
yeah,
sync somehow.
yeah, no, it
Yeah,
might
the
be that.
shake had to have been. Makes
Yeah, I
sense.
try to let it off.
No, you're good. You're good. For the most part, it's good
Well,
though. What do you call it?
whatever. It's water under the bridge.
It still went pretty good.
I
What are you
like
gonna
having Miranda. Yeah, Miranda's an awesome guest, and I am going to try to get her back again. It's pretty cool that I can message her. When I messaged her, she was like, I was like, you do the space? She was like, yeah, book it. And then I sent her a time and a day, and she was like, yes, yes, and yes, let's go. She was awesome. So I don't know. She was a great guest. I hope it wasn't too off to make her not want to do it again. I hope she gets the W and we can get her back after that. Yeah, I don't know. I think she's a great guest. Anyways, we're going to move on. Andrew, are you doing Tale of the Tape tonight?
Yeah, I got you, man.
If not, I can do it. I don't mind, but I try to let
No,
everybody
I
get
got
some
it
mic
up.
time. And that's a
I
good way
got
to
it up.
split it. I've got odds in front of me. If you've got to go back and forth on screens, I've got them in front of me. I'll shout them out to save you the time.
I've got them both up.
Nice. So